Alright, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the Project Reboot Kitchen. I'm really excited today because we are going to cook up a recipe that I've been wanting to share for a very long time. It's a crispy pork belly recipe. So for this recipe, we are going to start with these two absolutely beautiful pieces of pork belly. This is skin-on pork belly. Getting it with the skin on is super important because that is what is going to give us the crispy finish that we're looking for. This isn't a cut that you're going to find readily available at most supermarkets. You're probably going to have a conversation with the butcher, and if all else fails, your local Asian grocery store is almost certain to have it. Crispy pork belly is a favorite across a lot of different Asian cultures. Now it kills me to say this, but this is a 2-day process, but trust me, it is worth the wait. So first we're going to start with our marinade. The base of our marinade is going to be just a little bit of white wine. For traditional Asian recipes, it's actually more common to use rice wine as the base, but to keep the recipe as keto as possible, I'm going with a very low carb Sauvignon Blanc. To the white wine, we're going to add some 5-spice powder, some salt, and some pepper. We're going to mix it up really well and brush it generously across all sides of the pork belly except for the skin. Once you've got all of the sides basted and dripping in that amazing smelling marinade, it's time to glaze the top of the skin with a mixture of apple cider vinegar and just a little bit of kosher salt. This will help to dry out the skin and guarantee that crispy skin that we're looking for tomorrow. And that's pretty much it for day one. We're gonna go ahead and transfer this pork belly to a cooling rack and a baking sheet and stick it in the refrigerator for 12 to 24 hours. Okay, we're back. We've let our pork bellies dry out overnight and the skin is looking nice and dry. Taking a smell, it smells like that marinade has thoroughly penetrated through the meat of the pork belly. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take a very sharp knife and we're gonna poke a lot of little holes into the surface of the skin. The fat and skin will bubble up as we cook the pork belly and give us that nice bubbly crispy skin that we're looking for. Now comes the fun part. We're gonna take a generous amount of coarsely ground kosher salt and we're going to mix it in with 3 egg whites. Then we're gonna get a baking pan and line it with aluminum foil. And right on top of that aluminum foil, we are going to put our salt and egg white mixture. Once we've got a nice layer established at the bottom of that pan, we're gonna go ahead and put our pork belly directly on it. Then we're gonna continue to build out the salt crust. Now you might think that this would make the pork belly really salty, but really it just protects it from the heat and seals in the moisture. So we should be getting absolutely juicy pork belly by the time this is all done. Now that the crust is formed, we're gonna stick it into the oven at 400 degrees Fahrenheit, and we'll check back in 30 minutes. All right, so the timer has gone off. It sounds like the pork belly is done cooking. We're gonna crack open the salt crust and remove that porky goodness. Next, we're gonna take the pork belly and put it on a baking sheet and put it back in the oven for another 15 to 20 minutes at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Now it's important that you keep an eye on your pork belly. You're gonna wanna pull it out when the crust is golden brown, but it can turn from golden brown to a charred black very quickly, so make sure that you're watching it closely. All right, time's up. It's time to pull the pork belly out of the oven and see if we've achieved that crispy skin that we're looking for. Listen to how crispy that skin is. I can't wait to cut into it. Cutting in, you can see just how juicy and delectable this pork belly is. Now it's time for the moment of truth. Let's see if the family likes it. All right, bud, you ready for a taste test? Mm-hmm. All right, here you go.
It's chewy on the inside, it's fatty, it's a little bit oily, and what the heck in the world did you guys season that with?
Oh, that was a 5-spice blend, bud.
What?
That tastes good, huh?
It's also pretty crunchy on the skin.
Yeah. Do you want some more?
Uh-huh.
It's incredibly crunchy. It is so juicy. Encrusting it in that salt made the meat just succulent and tender. and hitting it with the broiler at the end made the skin super crunchy. That 5-spice blend is amazing. It really infuses the meat with a great flavor and a ridiculous aroma. Definitely give this a shot.
It is cuckoo crazy! It's cuckoo crazy! That's the best pork I've had in my life.
It's the best pork you've had in your life?
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.